What is up guys, Cartog here, and today I'm here with another Digimon deck profile. Today we'll be going over the LordKnightmon deck from BT-18. So with the new support from this set, the Knightmon archetype in general just got a lot of buff. So let's get right into the deck profile. I am running a LordKnightmon focused deck. So you'll see me running more LordKnightmon stuff versus a Knightmon build where you might focus on the DarkKnightmon stuff a bit more. But I think with the new set, I do want to play around with the LordKnightmon a bit more. So that's why this is a more focus on the LordKnightmon aspect of things. But let's get right into the Digitamas. So for the Digitama, we are running 4 of the Coromon. So Coromon's ability is when an attack target is switched, this Digimon gets 1000 DP for the turn. So this combos pretty well with Collision, just because LordKnightmon's effect, you give everything with equal or less DP than your LordKnightmon Collision, including your opponent's Digimon. So by switching target and then gaining 1000 DP, you're guaranteed your DP to be a bit higher than the opponent. So you can guarantee yourself not to crash. And I think that's pretty important. So running 4 of those. For the main deck, we are running 4 of the LordKnightmon. So this is obviously the main card that you want to use in this deck, the boss monster. So this is a ace card, and then on evolution you can play 1 level 5 or lower Knightmon in its text from your hand, or trash without paying its cost, and on all turns, all Digimon with as much or less DP than this Digimon gain collision. So pretty good. A bit of a shame that it's only on evolution that you can play the Knightmon, so it's a bit of a debuff compared to the old LordKnightmon, but the targets that you can play is more, so that is a buff, I guess. So yeah, they're both good, just because this one on Blast Evolution you can play another one, and that does offer more strategy and more option for you guys to choose which cards you guys want to slap out. So for example, if you want to do a DP deduction and just pop your opponent's Digimon, you can play this Knightmon. If you want to set up for your opponent's downfall at the end of their turn, you can play the Knightmon here to force an attack. Or you can just go with the DarkKnightmons to set up for your turn and attack with them. So there's a lot of different strategies you guys can choose, and I think that flexibility makes the deck a lot of fun to play. So yeah, we're running 4 of the LordKnightmons, and then for the other level 6 we are running 3 of the DarkKnightmon. So DarkKnightmon is previous boss monster for the deck, but I still think it's not bad in this deck. So its ability is on evolution, you can return 1 black or purple Digimon other than DarkKnightmon X antibody from your trash to your hand. And then when this Digimon that has DarkKnightmon or X antibody in its trait, you can delete 1 Tamer and then unsuspend this Digimon. So you can use this to get rid of Tamer. So here Tamer removal is still pretty good. Hybrid decks are not as prevalent in this current meta compared to before, but there are still hybrid decks running around just because there's a new set. And I think blue hybrid is still played quite a bit, just not the new hybrid stuff. So you know, getting rid of Tamers is still pretty good, and a lot of times you will be able to digivolve this on top of DarkKnightmon, so you can get that condition going. And then on evolution, you can play a DarkKnightmon without paying its cost. So overall, very solid card, and it is quite a few sets. It's for BT-10, but I think it still definitely has its place in this deck. Next, for the level 5s, we are running 3 of the Knightmon from BT-18. So this Knightmon's ability is, at the end of your opponent's turn, you can choose one of your opponent's Digimon, and that Digimon has to attack. So you're forcing an attack, so you can potentially go for another Blast Evolution if you can. So you can have this, target your opponent's Digimon, it attacks, then you Blast Evolve into the LordKnightmon, and then you can still do stuff with that, so it's pretty good. And then we're also running 3 of the Knightmon promo. So this Knightmon's ability is on evolution and on play. until the end of the turn, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 3000 DP for each of your Digimon. So you'll be able to build up your board and just neg your opponent to oblivion. So it's pretty good. Oh, their inherent ability is on both players' turn. If you have a Knightmon Digimon in its name or in its text, then this card gets plus 2000. And for this one, it's whenever another Digimon attacks, you can play a black or yellow level 3 Digimon from your hand without paying its cost. So they're both pretty strong. Next, for the other level 5s, we're running 3 of the DarkKnightmon from BT-10. So this one has the DigiXros. So on play, you can de-digivolve one of your opponent's Digimon. Then if you DigiXros with 2 materials, you can delete one of your opponent's Digimon with place costs of 5 or less. And then on all turns, when this Digimon would be deleted by returning 1 level 4 or lower black Digimon from this card's evolution source, you can play 1 SkullKnightmon or Deadly Axemon from this card's source without paying its memory costs. So it kind of rebuilds itself and just fetches you pieces, so I think it's pretty good. I was running him at 4 before, but I think 4 is a bit too much for this build, so I cut him down to 3, and it's a lot more consistent this way. Because it makes space for me to run the old DarkKnightmon BT-7. This one's a bit older, but I think it still has a place in this deck. I think it's pretty good. I cut out one of the DarkKnightmons in order to play a extra DarkKnightmon from BT-7. And I think this one's pretty good as well, just because on play you can place a SkullKnightmon and or Deadly Axemon from your hand or trash at the bottom of this card's source. And then on both turns, when this card is deleted, you can play 1 SkullKnightmon and or Deadly Axemon suspended without paying its memory cost. So they're both pretty good. They both have its place. But it's just because this one lets you stack your DigiXros, technically pseudo DigiXros, from your trash, which does help you set up for your attacks. So I think it's pretty good. This one mostly you have to do from your hand, so it's not as good. But both of them, it's not hard to get the pieces in your hand, so yeah. Next, for the level 4s, we're running 4 of the SkullKnightmon from BT-7. So this one is on attack, you can put 1 of your Deadly Axemons into this card's source, trashing all of that card's source. And then you can Digivolve into a DarkKnightmon without paying its cost. So it's also pretty good. And the inherent ability is, if this card has Knightmon or Bagromon in its name, it gets +1 security check. So this one is used to mainly put some dents in your opponent's security. And for the Deadly Axemon, this one is on play, you can reveal the top 5 cards of your deck. And then you can add up to 2 Digimon with Knightmon in the names from amongst them to your hand and place the rest to the bottom of the deck in any order. So this card is actually really good in this deck because there's a lot of Knightmon named cards that we are running now. And it is, you can search for LordKnightmon, SkullKnightmon, DarkKnightmons, Knightmons. So overall it's just pretty solid. And then the inherent ability just gives you +2k if you have Knightmon or Bagromon in its name. +2k, so that's pretty good. Only on your turn though. And then for the last but not least, for the other level 4, running 4 Gladiemons. So this is on play and on evolution, you can trash 1 Knightmon in your hand as a Knightmon text card from your hand, and then one of your Digimon cannot be deleted by your opponent's effects until the end of the turn. So this one's just used for a little bit of protection. This deck doesn't have a lot of protection, so having some protection is nice. I guess a way of your protection is from deletion, and then when your stuff gets deleted, you can replace it, but it's not like a full protection. So yeah, that's nice. And then we're running 4 of the Kotemon. So this is on play, you can trash a Knightmon text card from your hand to draw 2. So this helps you set up for some of your plays, and the draw 2 is just nice. And then on both players' turn, this card just gets +1000 for the inherent ability. And then we're also running 4 of the Monotamon from BT-7. So Monotamon's effect is a Seeker. On play, you can look at the top 3 cards of your deck, and then you can grab a card with Knightmon's name or a Deadly Axemon, and then put the rest at the bottom. So it's got a pretty wide range of search for this card, so I think it's pretty good. And for the last level 3s, we're running 2 of the Agumon from ST-15. So this one helps you gain memory at the start of your main phase if your opponent has a Digimon on the board. And then the inherent ability is whenever a target is switched, you can gain 1 memory. So this card's pretty useful. But I'm currently also testing Gotsumon X. Because I think Gotsumon X actually has quite a lot of utility in this deck. So its ability, for Gotsumon X's ability is, if this card does not have Gotsumon or X antibody in its source, it can't attack, which is one of the reasons why I'm only running this at 2. It's also a blocker, and also on your opponent's turn, whenever a target is changed, one of your blockers can unsuspend. And then for the inherent ability, it's on both players' turn, all your blocker Digimon get plus 1000 DP. So Gotsumon is actually really good in this deck just because of collision. You give all your Digimon blocker pretty much. Give all your Digimon plus 1k, which does help out the battle protection. It prevents your Digimon from dying in battle more often. So pretty good, and just being able to unsuspend is nice as well. So Gotsumon running at 2, it's an interesting tech to try out. It is a tournament pro, but it is getting a reprint, so it's not too hard to get, and it's not even that expensive. So if you guys want to try this card out, you can definitely do so. I think it's a pretty neat new card for blocker decks. So these are pretty flexible slots. If you don't like the cards I chose, you can kind of swap them out for whatever you want. You can run Floodgates if you want. You can run the Sunryuzamon if you want. The promo one that gives +1 security check in the source, and gives piercing if your stuff is 13k or more. But yeah, this is just what I chose. I just think these are interesting options to run with a blocker heavy deck. So that's why I chose to run these. But later on, I was running this at 4, but I felt like sometimes when you do want to push this out from raising to attack, you can't. So having the Agumon kind of relieves that a bit. But overall, I think Gotsumon is just pretty good utility card for blockers, and so I'm keeping it at 2. And for the Tamers, we're running 2 of the Ties. So Tie is just a memory setter, and also whenever our target is changed, you can rest this Tamer to draw 1 and get +2k. Again, this is another card that can help you beef up your blockers so that they don't die when they collide. So pretty good. And then we're running 4 of the trainings, just for a little bit of a consistency boost and cheaper evolutions. So running 4 of those, and we are running 2 of the Fist of Athena. So whenever you have a Knightmon card with a Knightmon text card on the field, you can ignore the color requirements. And then the main effect is one of your opponent's Digimon gets start of the main phase. This Digimon attacks, and then at the end of their turn, you can place this in the battle area. And then whenever a target is changed, you can delay and then gain piercing and +1 security check for one of your Digimon. So it's pretty solid. I think this is a pretty good card for this deck. And if you don't want to run this at 2 though, you can kind of cut this down and run a Black Scramble or a Black Memory Boost if you want. But for the most part, this is the deck that I'm running. I think it's a very fun deck. I was playing with this deck a lot. I kind of like this a lot more than the hybrid decks, to be honest. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this deck, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys have any questions, feel free to leave a comment down below. But this is Karataku, and I will see you guys next time.